A boy threw a banana down from the upstairs, and it vanished in midair. The boy picked up a rock and threw it, causing a vortex to appear in the sky. He ran downstairs and reached out to touch the spot in the air, but there was nothing there. He immediately ran to tell his older brother that there was a hole downstairs that could suck things in. His brother thought he was just making things up. To prove it was real, the boy grabbed his brother's favorite turtle and threw it off the balcony. His brother couldn't find the turtle and fell silent. The boy realized he had made a huge mistake and decided to retrieve the turtle. He stood on the edge of the balcony and jumped, instantly disappearing without a trace. When he opened his eyes again, he found the turtle. But when he returned home, the person who appeared was an adult man, his older brother. His brother fainted in shock when he saw his younger brother suddenly appear. When he woke up and saw the turtle safe and sound, he was overjoyed. The boy wanted to return to the past, but the hole on the balcony had disappeared. His brother brought in an experienced professor to calculate the position of the spatial crack. However, the results shocked everyone. There wasn't just one crack leading to the past. The boy secretly noted down some coordinates and found two friends he would meet in the future. Together, they followed the coordinates and eventually found an anomalous space by the coast. They exchanged a smile and jumped into the sea. Meanwhile, the future version of the older brother discovered that the younger brother had disappeared and frantically began searching for him. He and the professor started recalculating. When they threw a small ball, it vanished. They then entered the space-time crack and found themselves back in 1989. But when they landed, they saw wanted posters with the boy's photo all over the streets. At the same time, the boy and his friends swam ashore, but realized they hadn't arrived in 1989. They had ended up in 1949. The boy suddenly fell into the river, but underwater, he found an egg. When he took the egg home and opened it, he found that it was blue inside. He was stunned, not knowing what it was. Just then, his mother called him over, but after he left, the egg started to move. That night, he heard some strange noises. He rushed over to check, but the egg was already open and empty. He suddenly fell to the ground. He was scared, but forced himself to look, and found a strange creature. He tried to touch it, but it almost bit him. Maybe it was just hungry. So he took some potatoes from home and sliced them. The little monster immediately ate the potato slices, and slowly began to trust him. Every day, he fed it a lot of food. They became very close, even playing in the water together. But the next day, he saw his father pouring something from a bucket into the trash can. He was worried and rushed over to check, but there was nothing inside. Then, he searched from day to night, but still couldn't find the little monster. When he saw it again, it had grown very large. So, one morning, his family took it to the lake and decided to release it, but it didn't want to leave. His father took out a potato and threw it into the water. The monster excitedly swam towards it. He was teary-eyed, but still turned and left. A few months later, he couldn't resist returning. He rowed a small boat to the middle of the lake, calling its name. When he turned his head, it appeared behind him. It was truly enormous now. He touched its head, climbed onto its back, and happily played with it. Then a soldier passed by and spotted them. The next day, the army arrived with cannons. They continuously bombarded the lake, and the monster had to flee. That night, he returned to the shore and called out to it, but it no longer trusted humans. It even attacked him. Fortunately, his father pulled him back. Then, the monster dived back into the water. Meanwhile, the soldiers were chasing it again. When the monster surfaced, someone opened fire with a machine gun. The monster overturned their boat and almost ate the officer. He tried to stop it, but he fell into the water. He couldn't swim and was about to drown. Suddenly, the monster released the officer because it didn't want to see him get hurt. Eventually, it disappeared into the lake. Years later, another egg washed ashore, and another child found it. Perhaps the water monster transforms into an egg after it dies. The boy's parents were taking a bath in a glass. Then he used a hairdryer to dry them off. His mother accidentally slipped and fell into a jar of face cream. She was covered in cream and had injured her leg, so the boy disinfected her with alcohol. The boy thought his father's hair was a bit long and wanted to trim it with a razor, but his father was too small, and he accidentally shaved off half of his hair. However, his mother was very pleased with his new look. That night, the boy took out slippers and let his parents sleep in them. His father took a deep breath, loved the smell, and immediately jumped in. They also said goodnight to their son. The next morning, the boy brought out toys and dressed his parents in clean little clothes. Then he made noodles for breakfast, which they enjoyed. At this point, they finally explained why they had become so small. It turned out that, yesterday, when they went to the boy's school to pay tuition, they walked into the principal's office and saw a strange painting. The people in the painting were themselves arguing. Suddenly, a woman was pushed out of the painting. She claimed to be the new principal. The couple didn't believe her. The woman showed an evil smile. The magic ball in a jar began to spin rapidly, and a flash of fire appeared. Instantly, they were shrunk to miniature size and locked in a bird cage. They shook the cage vigorously. The cage fell from the hook and flew out the window. That's how they escaped. But the way home was too far. Just then, a delivery man passed by, and they climbed into his delivery box. They eventually appeared before the boy. After hearing their story, the boy took out 2 toy eggs and made 2 little hats for them. Then he glued them into a box, put safety helmets on them, and rode his bicycle to school, determined to restore them to their original size. The boy secretly sneaked into the principal's office and asked the old principal in the painting for help, but there was no response. Then, his parents came out of the bag, only to find that the magic ball was gone. The boy searched everywhere, and when he opened a drawer, he unexpectedly discovered that the original principal had also been shrunk.